Welcome to the spin-off, lads. Today we'll be reviewing the games that have just been played over in the Premier League over the weekend. Obviously, we know we've still got Everton and Leeds yet to come. We'll touch on that in the next episode where we'll probably be making our preview of the upcoming games next weekend. So, the main event of the weekend, the classic Manchester United versus Arsenal, not as much of a classic as it used to be back in the day when they were both fighting for the league title with each other. That's probably the game we're going to touch on first. I mean, I watched the game. I'll just give a brief description of the game and then I'll hand it over to the rest of the lads as well, and especially Sonny, who's an Arsenal fan. But in my view, I thought it was obviously a fantastic result for Arsenal. I thought Manchester United was the better team. Raya, for me, was probably man of the match. He made a couple of really, really vital saves, in my opinion. But Arsenal, over the last few seasons, especially early on in the league, I would say, they tend to, quite a little bit late on. That's what most people say anyway, not just myself. But especially the first part where there's a lack of pressure on the game, they tend to play like champions and they're able to win games against teams playing virtually at their best when they're not particularly playing very well. So credit to Arsenal for that. Big win, massive win. And I think this season Manchester United will improve compared to last season. And I'd say it's a good 3 points. And I think a lot of the top teams won't get that 3 points this season. So that's going to work in Arsenal's favour if they are realistically wanting to challenge the league title. Anyway, I'll pass it on to Sonny next, considering this is his team. What do you reckon, Sam? What's your review of the game?
I would definitely say it's a massive 3 points for us, and I think we should be happy for the win, especially at Old Trafford. But for Arsenal's play itself, I feel like it's pretty poor from Arsenal, really. I think Arsenal could do a lot better. I do think Man United played really, really well, showed a lot of strength, put a lot of pressure on Arsenal, especially in our defence. But I do believe that Arsenal didn't play so great, and I think we have quite a bit to improve on. I still think we're testing out our first team. But yeah, I'm happy with the 3 points, but I don't think most Arsenal fans should be happy with the way we played. I think we could have played a lot better, but big shout to Man United. They played really, really well, put a lot of pressure on Arsenal, really put our defence to work, which made Raya the man of the match because you just how much pressure was put on him. So well done to Man United, and I'm happy for the 3 points we have.
From what I did watch, I think obviously you scored against the run of play anyway because they were on top at that point. It was a poor mistake from the keeper. He should have done a lot better. You probably touched on it right, Sonny. You didn't play well, to be fair. Man United were much the better team, but you got the result. You defended well enough to stop them from scoring, although your keeper was very much to thank for that as well because he made some really good saves. You've got to be happy with the 3 points. When you didn't play your best whatsoever. But yeah, I also agree with Ant's point as well. I think Man United are going to be a lot better this season. They'd already started off well without getting the result, but you know what I mean. There's more to come from them with playing like that. So it'll be interesting to see if they can carry that on and get the results with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. I really enjoyed the game. It weren't a Man United Arsenal classic, but it was entertaining. It was getting there. I think Mbeumo was outstanding today.
Mm-hmm.
Kuna really put in a shift as well. He had Arsenal on the ropes at times, especially that run in the second half where if I think he got in Mbeumo's way, if he'd have got through and finished that would already have been contender for goal of the month. I think Arsenal were a bit off the boil, as we already know. Saka weren't in the game at all. Gyökeres was kept quiet, but I think that was more to credit to United for the defending. Arsenal again, same as last year, set plays, that corner. Do you know what I mean? How many games they won last season, and as well as United played, they kind of either Arsenal are going to be as strong as last season on the set plays, or United are going to have to learn because they conceded a hell of a lot last season as well. Some things obviously are not changed again. Raya, that save from Kuna in the first half when he went down low, that was, you know what I mean, that he got a great hand to that. It was a top save. And like I said, I think realistically, I think United, to be fair to them, deserved the point. But Arsenal went and got the 3 points, and going to Old Trafford, for Arsenal to go to Old Trafford, it's similar to when we go there. It's if you win at Old Trafford, it's a huge win. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Arsenal were nowhere near their best, and they will improve. I think United are, like you said, if they play anything like they did today, they're going to be challenging a lot more this season. But I still don't think. I think that this is where they're going to come unstuck again. They still couldn't score. As average as Arsenal were today, United still couldn't score, and that could be their downfall again. I can see them improving much on their, was it 17th or 15th they finished last season. They'll finish in the top half, maybe pushing for Europe. But I mean, when they play like lesser teams as such, they're going to get them wins if they play like they did today. But yeah, deserved the point, but Arsenal got the win.
I only saw the first half of the game. I echo everything you lot said, because obviously you lot watched it all the way through. What I saw in the first half, Arsenal pressing played really well. Man United was there. It was building, like you said, to be a classic. And a sloppy goal from Man United's point of view, like the keeper was dreadful on the corner. But saying that, you have to score and get the goal. You lot said Arsenal, the poorer team, Man United were the better team maybe. But going to Old Trafford is not an easy place to go. And to win leagues, as we've all won leagues in the past, witnessed it, you play crap and you win. So it's a great 3 points for them. Man United are looking better than what they were, what I've seen in the first half. And yeah, that's it really, and we'll just move on.
Okie dokie. So I think we've all reviewed that game. No real problems there. Obviously, we had another game today as well. We had Chelsea hosting Crystal Palace. Unfortunate result in that game, but me personally, I reckon it was a poor performance from us. I've done a full separate review on this, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Poor performance. I reckon there's more to come from us. It weren't the greatest performance. Palace are flying. I thought we ended the game better, almost as if hopefully we take that on as our pre-season and on to the game against West Ham on Friday. But I ain't going to touch up too much on it. If you want to see my full review on it, go on the channel and I've did a separate video of my review of the game. But I'll lead on then to Dan. And
I want to swear, but I'm not going to go there. Basically, it was a boring game, a boring watch. The few youngsters that come in looked all right. Delap come on, had a shot. Palace was unlucky with a free kick that looked like a perfectly good goal. But no one knew the rule, but we know the rule now about the rule.
I believe it's law 13.
Law 13 in the book, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
But as a review on the game, I ain't really got much to say. It's poor performance. We move on to West Ham next week, and hopefully that's when our season starts. Because if we play like that, we won't even make top four. But
yeah, I think watching the game, and obviously at the start of the game, I was really expecting Chelsea to put on a good performance, start off the season well. They never looked at it for the whole game for me. I think Palace was still playing well from obviously last weekend, where they played in the Community Shield, won that, and obviously from last season they carried that on. They put in a decent performance today. Again, like Dan touched on, they were unlucky with that goal. Obviously, we didn't know the new rule, so fair enough. Obviously, if that's the rule, that's how it stands. But yeah, Chelsea just won at it all for me. I expected a lot from Pedro as well coming in as their new signing, and obviously Palmer is normally quite consistent, so I expect a lot from him. But neither of them turned up today either. And in the end, I think you could say it is a deserved draw from both, but in my opinion, I think Palace deserves the win, but it doesn't matter either way. It was a draw, and yeah, it wasn't the best of games this weekend, put it that way.
Could I touch on a point? I just touched on a point. So as a response to Dom, what he was saying about the new rule, the interesting thing about that rule is I thought that rule had literally just come in, the one with the you can't be within 1 meter of
it's
the wall.
called Law 13.
Yeah, I that apparently come in 2019, that rule.
Never seen anyone use it, though.
No, they seem to have been practicing it this season, because if you actually look, I've never seen any. Have you seen the lines they've been drawing for the free kicks? So they're doing a free kick, and then they're drawing a line a metre away from the free kick.
Yeah, I see that.
I think that's really, really interesting, because I've never seen that before. So apparently the rule has been there for 6 years, but it's only just being practiced, basically. So it's interesting. I'd never heard of that rule before in my life, and I'd never seen it practiced before. But
I started 6 years ago and used it 6 years later, though. That's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it. Yeah.
But did you see they're actually drawing the lines down? So when they spray the lines, so they'll go 10 yards and spray the line.
And then they did another one.
They're spraying the line 1 metre. And I've never seen that before. It's very, very, very bizarre. And yeah, we were fortunate. We were very fortunate today.
I was about to say, I agree with Dom. I feel like it was pretty much of a bit of a boring game. I think Crystal Palace played a little bit better. Don't think Chelsea played very well. I think Crystal Palace probably deserved to win, but I think Chelsea will definitely improve down into the season as it goes along. And yeah, that's pretty much.
Hope so. Bloody hope so.
Yeah. I like I said, I never see any was busy today during that game. So I just caught up on bits and bobs from what you boys were saying on the WhatsApp, and it sounded like Palace were well in the game for the whole 90 minutes and deserved the point.
No, I'm happy with it. At the end of the day, it's we didn't have a pre-season, so that's this is our pre-season. Maybe the West Ham game. It will be our pre-season until we win a game. Then I'll say it starts.
That just sounds like excuses to me. I'm sorry. Just sounds like bullshit excuses. We ain't had a pre-season, but we played the Club World Cup, went on holiday for a week, come back and played 2 games, 2 friendlies at home, full house. We won both games. We struggled against Palace. Oh, we ain't had a pre-season. They're all like young. The oldest player in the squad's 27, but yeah, we need a pre-season. Anyway.
Well, do you think PSG were as good against Spurs as they were against Inter Milan or against Real Madrid in the Club World Cup semi-final?
PSG against Spurs, I only watched bits and pieces of it because I finished late at work, and I did call 2-1 in that game. So Spurs played well, so I backed Spurs. So I was a bit unlucky, wasn't I, really?
Yeah, no, but I was saying, do you reckon they were as good as they were when they won the Champions League, or when they beat Real Madrid 4-0?
No, but they got to the Club World Cup final. They didn't have a
pre-season either.
So what? But they got to the Club World Cup final and they just about beat Tottenham. We've got to stop making excuses, mate. They're billion-pound footballers. Stop making excuses.
I'm not making excuses. They won it anyway.
You scored in every Club World Cup game. You scored in every friendly, but you couldn't score today.
No, we couldn't. But then Palace are on a roll, man. They scored you last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be
scored though.
I said.
No, at least we kept the clean sheet there.
Yeah, great.
I said to you boys at the beginning of the week, last week when we first started this up, that I think that Palace will be the team to push into that 9th, 8th. Do you know, like that?
If they keep Eze and Gay though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I mean, I think Eze will stay. Just whether Gay will end up coming to us, which seems likely. So.
They were saying on the commentary today, though, when he went off, they said that could be his last game for Palace, they reckon.
Yeah. I think it's more and more likely that he's staying because Arsenal have gone for Madueke now, isn't it? And that's kind of like turned off, and he sounds like he's nearer to going to Spurs.
Yes.
So quick one, just slide in there. Dan, what was your thoughts on Maresca today?
What was my thoughts on Enzo Maresca?
Yeah.
He's the coach, he's the boss, he's the Don.
He's the man,
yeah, he's the man.
We're going to touch on Nottingham Forest.
I just saw it in brief spells. Morgan Gibbs-White, what they did there, keeping him, was one of the best thing they ever done. He got an assist. And I have to say this, Chris Wood looks like he's got a new lease of life. Scored, what was it, 2 he scored today? And he looks phenomenal every time he plays. Hold up play, the running, the in behind. He's not scared to put his head in where it hurts. He scores goals for fun. As much as he's been good for them, I'd like to see maybe if he can make the step up. But they just keep surprising me, Forest. They look really good.
Obviously, I was watching the Chelsea game. I'd only seen I'd only seen the little goals going in or whatever. But I read a few comments about the game, so I can't really say anything. But apparently Brentford weren't as bad as the scoreline suggested. Apparently 3-0 at the time is flattering to Nottingham Forest. I can't say much. I didn't watch the game. I'm just going on what I've seen other people say. But apparently the scoreline was fairly flattering at 3-0 and even 3-1. Apparently, it could have even been a draw. Like, it was fairly back and forth. Brentford had chances, but I haven't seen the game, so good win for Forest anyway. Brentford ain't a very good side, but you've got to do what you got to do.
I think, like I said, I don't think they're going to be up there like they were last year, but like, you can never say never. Because that would be some feat if they do it 2 years in a row. But like I said, keeping hold of Gibbs White and that, and they've started well. So yeah, you never know.
But let's exactly the same as Ant. I literally was watching the Chelsea game and I seen the goals as they went in. To be fair, the goals I did see them score, they took the goals well. Especially that new player that they just signed, that header. That was a really good finish, like really good header, to be honest. But just to touch it on it more, what Rob said, I probably agree. To be fair, I don't think they'll finish as high as they did last season. However, obviously it's good to start with a win and at home as well. So I hope they might move on from that, carry on with their confidence that they've had from last season. And they could still do well this season. I just don't see them quite finishing that high, but I think they'll be absolutely fine. They won't go down or anything like that. But
I think because they got Europe as well, innit? So they got that this year as well. So when you've got a squad as small as theirs, when playing in Europe as well, it will take it out of them, and they'll be because of Europe. And if they last longer in Europe, then that will. I don't quite see them having a squad to be finishing in them European places or
you want to
top 6.
Yeah.
I
said same with you guys. I was watching the Chelsea Crystal Palace game, so I didn't really catch the game. But I would like to mention, well, firstly, it was a good result for them, Nottingham Forest. But I feel like we've slept on Nottingham Forest. We didn't really mention them much about the other teams and how well they done last season, especially during the beginning. They put a lot of pressure on Liverpool when Liverpool was doing fantastic as well. So it'd be interesting to see what's to come of Nottingham Forest. Really interesting to see.
Oh, sorry. You go carry on.
No, go on, mate. I'm all done, mate.
I was going to say, so obviously we had Saturday's games, but as in we got the 2 Liverpool fans here, I reckon that we let them crack on. So Dom or Rob, whichever one of you wants to go first with your fantastic victory against Bournemouth.
I'll let Rob go on this one because he was at the game, so I'll let him go first.
Go on then, Rob.
I think
you see.
I think again, I think we started well. I think we look very good going forward. I think we're not going to have any problem scoring goals this year. Ekatike 2-2 off the mark in the Prem, which will give his confidence the world of good. And then, but it's the defence side of it for me still. I think Kirkes is a brilliant left back. He is, but for me, he needs to stay on his feet a bit more. He was too lunging in too much. He was on the floor quite a lot. He was out of position quite a lot. And Bournemouth played very well. And when they got back to 2-2, at that point, there wasn't really an argument from anyone to say that they actually didn't deserve just to get the point in the end. But also it shows the character of us, especially at home, and the players we got on the bench. And even though we've lost the likes of Núñez, Diaz, Jota as well, the likes of Jones comes off the bench, and then Chiesa. Do you know what I mean? The fella's so underrated, and he's loved up here. It looks like, thankfully, he's staying now. He's had a talk with Slot, and it looks like he was going to go to Leipzig, or not Leipzig. He was going to go back to Italy. Sorry. And it looks like he's staying now. So then obviously we've got Salah, who can just win you a game at any given point. I think Kanate and Van Dijk looked off the boil, especially Kanate. He looks half interested. He was at fault for, well, especially the second goal. He was well out of position, and even if they'd have played it into the two on the left-hand side, they would have scored from that before they did. The first goal across the box, nowhere to be seen. I mean, we've just bought Leone, so I think he won't be far from coming in, and then Gay from Palace. I think we need him definitely, and I think because Konate's got one eye on Madrid, whether it's this year or next, we need someone else to come in and play alongside Van Dijk. Apart from that, yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to score goals this season. We're going to be entertaining, to say the least. But I just hope from our point of view, that we buckle up at the back, because if we don't, I can see us finishing in top four, but not winning the league, because you need a good defence to win the league. And if we keep conceding the way that we are, or we have done so far. Yeah. And then obviously, and then Isak as well. So hopefully we can get that over the line. So I didn't mean to, I just forgot about that. Hopefully we can just get him over the line now, over the next week or so. 130 mil, it seems. Seems like that's as good as done behind closed doors now. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But once he's in as well, give us more like opportunities off the bench and stuff. You know, obviously he'll be a starter, but the players, obviously Gravenberch weren't there as well, which was a big miss as well on Friday. But yeah.
You got anything to add to that, Dom? You being the other.
So I obviously I agree with a lot of the points Rob's making. I think we started off really, really, really well. I think, to be honest, we could have been about 4-0 up at one stage. But Ekitike, yeah, like you said about Ekitike, he's come in. It looks good. He obviously scored against Palace last weekend in the Community Shield, and then scored another good goal against Bournemouth. He got the assist for the second goal as well. And at a point when we was 2-0 up, I thought it was flying. It was going to close it off. It was going to be 4-5. And then we just switched off. And I don't like you said about Kanate. I think, in my opinion, Kanate was at fault for both goals. I just don't know what he was doing. Like he like Rob said, he just doesn't look interested. He looked like his head's gone already. So poor. And yeah, to throw away a 2-goal lead at that point, you know, we could have switched off and thought, oh no, we're going to hold on for a draw here, or you know what I mean, that they might go on and win the game. But we didn't. We did what Liverpool normally do, is come on, create extra chances, and obviously we brought Chiesa on, and I'm so happy that he scored that goal, because he had limited game time last season. I felt sorry for the bloke. I thought he was going to leave at this season all day long, but he stayed and he's got his goal, thankfully. And I hope he gets more time on the pitch now, because he deserves it. And then obviously, as Rob's touched on, Salah doing what he does best every season. First game of the season, he always scores, always comes up and scores. Class as per usual. But yeah, overall with the game, I think we deserve to win it. Fair play to Bournemouth. They deserved their 2 goals. They gave us a run. Do you know what I mean? They scared us a little bit there. But yeah, I think the right team deserved to win. We'll be a lot better defensively, 100%. I think Slot will obviously, you know, speak to the players, and he won't have that again. He won't allow us to be that sloppy and concede goals like that again. So as long as we can obviously, you know, stay solid defensively like we did last season, I think we'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, one more thing to touch on, obviously Kirkes as well, like Rob said. I think he was, he needs to calm down a bit. I think he was too excited. He was rash. He was jumping into challenges. He just stays calm, and you know, tackles how he did last season for Bournemouth and did what he did for Bournemouth last season, he'll be fine as well. But yeah, overall we deserve to win. I just think we just need to work on a defensive game now, and we'll be fine.
I think. Sorry, one more thing with Chiesa there. He's going to get. He's going to get 6 minimum games when Salah goes to the AFCON. So he'll have a nice run this season as well. So hopefully he'll get the confidence from that. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to have that run in the team, and also as well when the difference is with us now. In the last few years is even though not the Liverpool of old, when we pull back from 2 goals, you know, or 3, whatever, we'd be deflated. But the team just seems to believe that we're going to score, even if there's 2 minutes left. Do you know what I mean? It happened a couple of times last season. We always seem, especially at Anfield, we seem to think that we know we can still win this game. But good result, deserve to win.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the game, and yeah, I think, like I said, I said this at the time. Like I think I said to you guys, you were good going forward, but you know, I mean, Bournemouth. To be fair, like they've had an awful pre-season. I think they got whooped by Man United big time, and they got whooped by West Ham big time. But obviously, you can't go off pre-season.
But then they beat Everton.
You love pre-season, don't you? You love pre-season.
One sec, can I speak, please? Anyway, so pre-season's pre-season. It doesn't mean much. But I mean, realization for me of seeing like Van Dijk coming to the end must be a bit scary for the Liverpool fans, because he looks shot. Obviously, Canато is not very good, but you're still good enough going forward to get the job done against a team like Bournemouth. I think going through a whole season, if you defend the way you defend against Palace, you defend the way you defend against Bournemouth, I don't see it ending very well for you. You know, we weren't good today either. I'm not going to say we were good, but I mean, Palace. Like, I mean, I think Liverpool were lucky the other week, last weekend, to get to penalties against Palace. I don't think many people complained at that, and they were lucky to win on Friday. So, but I will give you that the attack brought you through. But I do think Van Dijk might be coming to the end. I think he looked off the mark there. It happens once. Eventually, Father Time catches up with you. Dan, do you got anything to add on that?
No, let Sonny go before me first. Sonny's been waiting for ages. Go on, Son.
Go on then, Sonny.
As I said, I didn't really watch too much of the game. I did see the goals in that though. I think Liverpool played pretty well. I think Salah's still lucky to get his goal last minute. I think he done well. I think the new signings are doing really well, and I think Liverpool will do really well this season. Definitely be challenging.
All good?
Yeah, mate.
Going on to Liverpool going forward, I don't think they were great. I don't think they were good. I think they was okay. I do honestly think 2-0 up, Bournemouth coming back at 2-2, Liverpool scoring near the end in the 87th minute with the player you just mentioned who scored the volley. Looked like a bit of a miss hit, but it went in. Salah, I think, was rubbish all game, right? He was absolutely pony all game, but then does what he does and he scored his goal at the end. I think Bournemouth maybe could have got a draw out of that. I don't think Liverpool looked great in any aspect. I agree with Van. I think Van Dijk is coming to the end. Canate, like you boys, Liverpool boys said, he's coming. He's got his eye on Madrid. I do think if you get Gay in with Van Dijk, that's a big plus. Obviously, Isaac going forward, it will add to the goal power. Yeah, I've got to touch on what Ant says. Like, I suppose at the end, the attacking prowess got you through, but I just think 2 late goals from the 86th minute, but it was 2-2, and then you came out, you scored, and then Bournemouth was shot after that, and then you scored near the end. I don't think you were great, but at the end of the day, you got over the line, got the win, 3 points. You was at home.
Well, we've got Newcastle away next, and then Arsenal, so they're a tough couple of games coming up. I think we've got United in that little run as well now. So,
sorry, boys, can I ask you a quick question? We didn't touch on the handball. Was that intentional handball? So
the handball, the handball. I mean, this is not
I think it was unlucky.
Opinion. The Bournemouth one.
I think that's a straight red card.
Yeah, no, he was last man. There's no. If it was, it's not a biased opinion. If he was, it's when he's gone. I thought at first it his elbow, but it didn't. He put his hand out and then his fingers touched the ball. So if it was anyone else,
he was going to catch the striker though.
Hmm?
Do you think he would have caught him?
No, but I
Just
mean, he
play-
was last man. I don't know who it was behind him. Was it Ekatike or something? Was just about to go through on goal.
Yeah, it was Ekatike,
Um,
yeah.
I think
Ekatike, yeah.
Ekatike's goal was lucky as well, but you get the luck. Everyone gets the luck. You need a bit of luck. So ricochet
Okay.
rebound through to him for the
So
goal. Everyone.
let's we have to
Go on,
move on.
Yes,
So
100%.
Yeah, 'cause we've got like
Wolves
10 minutes.
versus Manchester City. I personally, I thought it was clinical from Man City. Man City, to be fair, haven't really been given much of a shout to win the league, considering how they've been. But it weren't like it's a weird one. It wasn't like it was the greatest performance ever, but they're very clinical in the 4-0. They're very, very clinical. What's that? Renders.
Yeah,
that
he
guy
played well.
he looked insane. Like, he looked insane. What a signing! I've not heard anyone speaking about how good this guy is. What a signing! The first goal,
Yeah,
like he does the he creates the whole move. Doesn't get an assist. This is the thing with certain things you can do, and you don't get any like credit on paper for. He didn't get an assist, didn't get a goal, but the goal was basically his. And then, do you know what I mean? He did get an actual assist as well, and he scored a goal. And what a performance from him! I mean, that I would give him the performance of the weekend personally. And I mean, Wolves were in the game as well, 0-0. It's weird to say it after they got spanked 5-0, 4-0, sorry. But they were really in the game before then. We'll give a lot of credit to City because a lot of people wrote them off, but they play like that. They will definitely be in the title picture for me. Free for all. Who wants to add to that? Who wants to chat next?
yeah, I don't mind adding to that.
Go on, Tan. Go on, because you wait.
No, I was just going to say, I would be quickly because we ain't got long left. I was going to say, I think Man City played really well. I mean, I know it's against Wolves, but I still think they played absolutely brilliant. I mean, didn't Haaland score again in the first game? I think that's the third or fourth time he's done it in a row. Scored, and he scored 2 goals. Yeah, I think Man City look back to normal again, and I think they'll definitely be a threat. Go on, Dan.
Yeah, I agree with both your points. What Anne touched on. A lot of people out there ain't giving City a chance really. With Rodri being out again, who we saw last year was a big miss. But one thing we all know, you can't write off Pep, you can't write City off. And what you said, son, Haaland's just Haaland. The man's a machine. Could be cracked for 90 minutes, 91st minute, bang, scores the goal winner, and they get the 3 points. City's just City, basically. So, Dom and Rob, over to you.
I think I watched the first. Sorry,
Be
go on,
quick
mate.
though, guys.
Yeah.
We ain't got long.
I just wanted to say one thing. But I watched the first 25 minutes, and I don't think in that first 25 minutes that City were too great, to be honest. They went on to win 4-0 and they turned it up, but they could have easily been 1-0 down. At that point in the first 20 minutes, Wolves had a goal disallowed. They got caught offside if their striker was more on the ball, and didn't catch the offside. Like, he was offside 3 times when he shouldn't have been. City looked a bit vulnerable at the back. Obviously, then after that, they scored the goal. Once they scored that goal, they went on to get the rest, and the game changed. But up until that point, they didn't look great. They looked like beatable when Wolves really went for them and beat that offside trap. And then they had the goal disallowed. Obviously, it was no goal, it was offside. But what I'm saying is they had the ball in the back of the net, and then City scored, and then it went on from there. But go on, Dom.
Right.
Got a few minutes.
Yeah, no,
to be quick,
I
Dom.
only seen the highlights of the match today, but for what I did see, Man City kind of capitalised on that offside goal. They scored the first. Haaland was clinical as ever. That new signing, Reyners, quality. Looks like he's settled in already. Obviously, Cherky come off the bench as well, and he scored a good goal. So he's going to definitely do a few things for them as well. So I think at the end of the day, Man City and Man City still, regardless of what they did last season, they still could come on strong this season, definitely be a challenge. They could even, nick us to winning it easily. But we've got to see how they do for the rest of the season. But fair play, they've started off really well. They probably were the best team this weekend, I'd say. in performance-wise anyway. But yeah, that's obviously, as I said, I didn't see the full game, but from all the highlights, they did look very good, to be fair.
Sunderland versus West Ham. I mean, that's Rob called it, to be fair. He was the first one to say he reckons West Ham will lose that game. But I mean, 3-0. I mean, we know the score. But I mean, Graham Potter, the gift that keeps giving, just a manager that keeps getting sacked, it seems, at the moment. I mean, what would you reckon on Graham Potter's future at West Ham? I mean, West Ham have got Chelsea on Friday. They get whooped again 3-0. I mean, the guy's under pressure already, surely.
I mean, like I said, I fancied Sunderland yesterday. Being at home in their first game back in the Prem, you know, the fans are going to be up for it, and they were. I watched Match of the Day last night, and that stadium was loud. Them fans were, when they're on behind them, like Sunderland are one of the best sets of fans that you can. They're up there with the Newcastles and the Liverpools and that. But like you said, 3-0, didn't see it coming. I fancied 2-1.
Go on.
Yeah, no, go on.
No, I'm itching just to say, when you said, yeah, their fans are up there with the Newcastles and the Liverpools. It's a bit of a myth there. Like, I've been to all of them. But, yeah, just to touch on the game. A massive result, 3-0. West Ham shambles. Xhaka going to be a good signing for them, even at his age. Good bit of experience. And Graham Potter, like Ant said, the gift that keeps giving, he's in big trouble already. You know, we got them on Friday. We go and spank them, but then after the way we play today, I don't know what we're capable of at the moment. But if we do beat them, he's under big pressure. So, yeah, over to Dom.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I didn't actually watch the full game. I've seen the highlights, but Sunderland just looked completely on it for the whole game. Well, from the highlights I've seen, but the goals they scored were really good goals as well. I think the thing with West Ham is they got rid of, obviously Kudus left for Spurs. They didn't replace him. They haven't really brought in many players. I think they're going to struggle really bad this season, and I'd say Potter probably could be the first manager out, either before Christmas or by Christmas. I think, yeah, I don't think he's going to turn it around there. I think they're going to struggle this season majorly. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they're either down by the end of the season or just stay up, one of the two. But yeah, they're not a good side, West Ham. But fair play to Sunderland, they did shock me, and who knows, they could carry on pulling out these good results and stay in the league. Because for me, they were relegated this season as well. But we'll have to see what else they can do. But they've got a very good win there, and I'm pleasantly surprised, and fair play to them. Do you know what I mean? They're great.
Yeah. So Tottenham started 3-0 winners, but again, it's another one of them games where, yeah, we give credit to Spurs 3-0. I'm not just slating them because they're Spurs. You know, they've won.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Coming into the season confident, but with Spurs, for me, you know, they were dirty in the match. And I mean, it was actually for a 3-0 win. It was a very, very evenly matched game. Burnley didn't take their chances. Yeah, it was fair for a 3-0. It didn't look like a 3-0 to me, but you know, Spurs done the job. They won 3-0, but it means nothing. Spurs won't be up there this season. I promise you that. I promise you that. Yeah, that was a 6-pointer they won this weekend. And fair play to them, but Spurs will do nothing. They'll do nothing in the Champions League. They face PSG because PSG had no pre-season. I just don't rate Spurs.
Is that you talking about pre-season again?
Huh? Yeah,
Is that you talking about pre-season again?
Spurs getting all hyped. They're going to win the league because they beat Burnley 3-0. It means nothing. That's what all their fans are saying. They think they're going to win the league because they beat Burnley 3-0. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But, you know, fair play to them. They got the job done. They won. They're 2 points ahead of us in the league. Let's see how long that lasts.
One of them was on when I see the highlights of some match of the day. I think I put the match on for about 5-10 minutes yesterday, but I was switching it on and off because watching Gillette Soccer Special, and every time they went to the Spurs game, Burnley were pushing. Like Burnley had a lot of the ball. They seemed like they had some of the chances, so I was flicking it on and off. Match of the day as well. They didn't really show a lot. You know what I mean? They won 3-0. It was a great result for Spurs, but like you said, Burnley just back up in the Prem. I think out of the three, I think that they're going to be the ones that are going straight back down. Not just because of yesterday, but I think they're the poorest by far out of the three. And Leeds tomorrow will be the same with Sunderland. I think they'll be bang up for that game tomorrow at home under the lights at Ellen Road. First game back in the Prem. I think Everton will be in for a shock. But Burnley awful. I think Tottenham probably obviously lost Son as well. That's 7th, maybe 6th, 7th. But yeah, nothing may win a trophy.
I'm the same. I watched it on Match of the Day. Like Rob touched on, it didn't show a lot of it. However, what I would say is I'm not surprised in the result. I would have probably called 3 or 4-0 anyway. Charlison's second goal was class, overhead kick. Bicycle
it was a great
kick,
goal.
Whatever they call it these days.
Great
That was a class goal.
Yeah.
And their other two goals are decent. But yeah, Spurs. I'm not. They should be winning that game all day long, 3 or 4-0. So I'm not surprised at that.
I mean,
Burnley a very poor side.
Goals are good. Their goals were good, to be fair. I mean, but yeah, another game. I mean, this has got to be the most gutting moment.
Wait, I ain't said nothing about the Spurs game.
What?
I ain't said nothing about the Spurs game. Fucking hell.
Damn, we don't want to get banned off
are.
YouTube now, do we?
Good.
Sorry, I got
anyway,
to
we want to hear Dan's comments.
Yeah, just
Go
a quick
for it,
one.
Dan.
Burnley were useless.
Destroy
Tottenham won 3-0. I don't like Spurs, but they got the win. 3 points. Thomas Frank looks decent. That's about the end of that. Go on then, Ant. Away you pop.
Come on, all that for that. All that for that.
I can't help it. I really want to swear, innit?
I was just
really want to swear.
First game.
I wanted to touch on one last thing. I was going to say Burnley are going to be rock bottom this season, and Scott Parker is a terrible manager. So he's another manager.
Yeah, Scott. If you're watching this, Scott, you're terrible.
I agree.
Decent player though. Decent player.
I agree.
Yeah, good
no,
player.
not really, Dan.
Terrible manager.
Well, not for us. Anyway,
Tell him to like and subscribe.
It's got to be the most gutting moment of the weekend, surely. Brighton and Hove Albion versus Fulham. I mean, to be fair, overall, I'd say a draw probably was the fair result. But I mean, 97th minute equaliser, 97th minute. But it was coming because Fulham were pressing. But I mean, 97th minute equaliser. They're basically playing themselves. They look like the same team. They're two teams that are probably aiming for Conference League at best if it comes available. But I mean, fair play to Fulham. They fought to the end. It's got to be the most gutting moment of the season to be 97 minutes in and concede a goal. Fair play to Fulham. Do you know what? Yeah, as a Chelsea fan, we don't hugely hate Fulham. We look on them as kind of nothing team, and the same as Brighton. I don't think anyone looks on them as with any relevance. But both the clubs battled it out. They're both sort of like mid clubs, and but it was entertaining anyway. Especially if you watch it in the highlights, it's very entertaining. If you didn't watch it in the highlights, a very even game. It was deserved draw, but one team's going to feel that draw as a win. The other team's going to feel that draw as a loss. But yeah, got to be the most gutting moment for a side this season so far for sure. Anyone else want to touch on that game at all? 97-minute equaliser.
Not really. I
agree with you, Anthony. No, go on, Dan.
No, that's it, mate. I just echoed what he said. I really can't touch on anything.
Yeah, I draw it.
Both the same sort of club and going for the same things. Might have a decent cup run. I don't know. Did Brighton get Europe? They didn't even get in Europe.
No, I don't think so. No.
No, right. So yeah, like Ant said, they're both like a mid-table club, and
They're
yeah,
both
stay
they're
there.
both going for the early European spots, aren't they? So I mean, we touched on everything except for obviously the game tomorrow, and obviously the most boring game of the Premier League so far. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. I mean,
Sorry, I have to hold you to this. Our
yeah.
game with Palace was the most boringest game of the weekend. I have to say that. I'm really sorry.
No, because there was a goal in our game. It just didn't count, did it? So, you know.
It was boring.
You know what I mean, it was a little bit more entertaining than this. I mean, what's better, a goal or a red card? You know.
Do you know what? I expected a bit more from that Villa game. To be fair, I mean,
the Villa Newcastle game, Villa didn't turn up. They were shocking, absolutely shocking. I mean, Newcastle should have won the game. I don't know if their main guy up front was injured or whatnot. Who knows what's going on with him? I heard he's proper Newcastle, their main man, but apparently he didn't turn up for the game. So they ended up with around 16 shots, only 3 on target. Villa ended up with 3 shots, 3 on target, and Newcastle couldn't score even against a 10-man Villa. But I mean, what an awful game. But
I think if Newcastle had a proper striker yesterday, or Isak was there, they was 3-0 up.
That's established that, I mean, Newcastle without Isak, I mean, having that many chances completely, I mean, you've probably seen the highlights, lads. They've completely battered Villa, even with 11 on 11 and with, 11 against 10. And Villa, probably, in my opinion, come closest to scoring. More than one occasion, with a couple of chances. They, obviously, Newcastle at the moment are clearly lacking a striker, in my opinion. They got out quick and buy Jackson for me. Hopefully they act quick and buy Jackson.
It still missed chances anyway. So
don't say that in public, right? We want him to think he's good, okay? We want him to think
he's world class, 150 million.
Just as good as Isaac.
Gutted he's going to be going.
Isaac.
So gutted.
You know, it's like getting Isaac for 80 million. Great. That's what we'll say. Till he's on the dotted line. We don't say that. But anyway, overall, in all fairness, Newcastle should have won the game, had a lot of chances, couldn't do it, even against 10 men. I think Villa, even though they're at home, they're probably happy with a draw. I don't know, last season, what was it? Villa, did they play each other first game last season and Villa win 5-1 or something? It was early on, or was that the other way around or something? But this one was a very low scoring game anyway, and I think Villa are happy with a draw.
Yeah,
anyone else want to touch on the last game?
I watched the whole game, and Villa weren't great at all. Newcastle did a lot, but just didn't have a goal scorer there at all. Didn't have a striker. I think obviously we all know the Isaac situation at the moment. He goes to Liverpool. They need to replace him ASAP because they need a striker there. There's not many goals in that team without a striker. They just don't look clinical enough. And Villa, they weren't really at it. Like, they had a few chances, but they weren't at it. And I expected better of them, knowing that Newcastle, has a lot of chances without having a goal scorer to score them. I thought Villa might then nick the win by having one clear-cut chance of scoring it, but they didn't. But yeah, other than that, for a neutral, it's a pretty boring game, to be fair. So yeah, there's not much more to say about it.
Yeah, I think Newcastle played well first half. They just shows you without a striker. That's why they never won the game, and without a proper striker. And then in the end, Villa going down to 10 men, they would have been happier with a draw. They'd be happy waking up today, taking the draw, even though they was at home. Nothing much left on it.
Just again, I agree with all your points of view. Really, don't really much to say except for the Isaac situation. Like you say, without him, they look really bad. So yeah, that's it. Really, nothing much else.
Okay then. Well, I think that wraps up episode 2. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, our next episode we will touch on the Leeds and Everton game, right? Because obviously this is filmed on on a Sunday night, and obviously the game's on Monday. We will touch on that, and we will be previewing our predictions for the up and coming games in the Premier League for next weekend. But for now, that's goodbye from us. I hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe to the channel. Watch the other videos if you can. We're going to try our best to put in a few more little ones. But yeah, for now, goodbye from me and goodbye from everybody else.
Nice one.
Up the Chelsea.
Thank
Go on
you.
the Chelsea.
All the best.
Go on,
See you later,
Chelsea.
then.